A glimpse of China 2024 special, joining hands to advance modernization and build a high-level China-Africa community with a shared future. The theme of today's program is joining hands to advance modernization and build a high-level China-Africa community with a shared future, with a focus on highlighting the grand proceedings of the 2024 Beijing Summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC. Since its establishment in 2000, the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation has become an important mechanism for conducting collective dialogue and promoting pragmatic cooperation between China and African countries. The Forum holds a ministerial conference every 3 years and a summit every 6 years. The establishment of FOCAC marks the beginning of a new era of comprehensive development in China-Africa relations and driving deeper cooperation in various fields, including politics, economy, and culture. After more than 20 years of development, the Forum mechanisms have been steadily improved, making the Forum one of the key platforms for promoting South-South cooperation and global governance. The 2024 FOCAC Beijing Summit was held from September 4th to September 6th, 2024 in Beijing, China. The theme of the summit was joining hands to advance modernization and build a high-level China-Africa community with a shared future, aiming to achieve common prosperity through deepened cooperation. During the summit, several high-level meetings and forums were held. Participants including Chinese President Xi Jinping, African heads of states and government officials, representatives from the United Nations and other international organizations, as well as experts, scholars, entrepreneurs, and other professionals from various backgrounds. The opening ceremony of the 2024 FOCAC Summit in Beijing is one of the highlights of the summit, attracting global attention. Chinese President Xi Jinping, along with leaders from several African nations, delivered captivating speeches at the ceremony, fully outlining the strategic positioning of China-Africa relations in the new era. They emphasized that China and Africa will continue to adhere to the principles of sincere trust, equality, mutual benefits, and shared development as they work to advance the building of a China-Africa community with a shared future. During the summit, significant agreements were reached, including the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Beijing Action Plan 2025 to 2027. Additionally, China announced the implementation of the 10 partnership actions over the next 3 years. These initiatives, based on the action plan, not only inject new vitality into China-Africa cooperation, but also clarify the direction and positioning of relations in the new era of development. The convening of the summit has ushered China-Africa cooperation into a new phase where both sides will achieve mutual benefits and win-win outcomes at a higher level, pushing China-Africa relations to a new heights.
以治国理政为议题的高级别会议，主题为加强治国理政经验交流，探索现代化发展路径，由中共中央宣传部牵头主办，约350名中外代表参加会议。
This was a significant event of mutual exchange and shared visions for the future, a harmonious collaboration between China and Africa, resonating with shared aspirations and mutual support. At the high-level meeting on governance during the FOCAC Beijing Summit, the great achievements China has made in governance and the bright prospects showcased by Chinese-style modernization deeply captivated many African nations.
工业化和农业现代化为议题的高级别会议主题为工业化、农业现代化和绿色发展，通往现代化之路，由商务部牵头主办。有关部门负责同志以及来自50余个非洲国家有关非洲地区组织等约350名中外代表出席会议。
非洲国家普遍谋求加快工业化和农业现代化，中国致力于进一步深化改革，推进中国式现代化。中非合作发展互有优势、互有需要，现代化探索互帮互助、互学互鉴。
At the high-level meeting on industrialization and agricultural modernization during the FOCAC Beijing Summit, there was widespread expression of an eagerness to deepen cooperation. Lively discussions were held around the theme of industrialization, agricultural modernization, and green development, the path to modernization. Many representatives from African countries expressed that Africa's market, with its large population base and youthful consumer structure, is rapidly advancing the construction of the African Continental Free Trade Area. This will provide vast market opportunities for Chinese enterprises to engage in trade with Africa, make direct investments, and undertake contracting projects, thus enhancing economic and trade cooperation. Participants unanimously agreed that China and African countries have each undertaken unique explorations in achieving industrialization and agricultural modernization and have engaged in fruitful cooperation. They look forward to jointly advancing the 10 partnership actions for China-Africa modernization, leading the Global South in writing a new chapter in modernization. Maintaining world peace and security is a shared goal and pursuit of both China and African countries. At the high-level meeting on peace and security during the FOCAC Beijing Summit, numerous African leaders expressed their support for China's proposed global security initiative and the new security concept of joint comprehensive cooperative and sustainable security. They expressed their willingness to work with China to advance modernization of peace and security, contributing more positive energy to global stability.
以高质量共建“一带一路”为议题的高级别会议，主题为“高质量共建‘一带一路’，打造共商共建共享的现代化发展平台”，由国家发展改革委主办，中方有关部门单位负责人以及非洲国家和区域性组织的代表约350人参加会议。
Africa is an important partner in China in jointly building the Belt and Road Initiative. At the high-level meeting on high-quality Belt and Road cooperation during the FOCAC Beijing Summit, participants fully acknowledged the great achievements made in China-Africa cooperation under the Belt and Road Initiative. China has remained Africa's largest trading partner for 15 consecutive years. In the 11 years since the Belt and Road Initiative was proposed, Chinese enterprises have cumulatively participated in the construction and renovation of over 10,000 kilometers of new railways, nearly 100,000 kilometers of roads, nearly 1,000 bridges, and nearly 100 ports in across various African nations. Looking ahead, the potential for China-Africa cooperation under the Belt and Road Initiative is immense, with broad prospects for future development. FOCAC participants emphasized the need to continuously deepen the alignment of development strategies. They advocated for actively promoting the high-quality integration of the Belt and Road Initiative with the development strategies of African countries, striving to find more points of convergence. The Belt and Road Initiative has extended into multiple areas of economic growth and social progress, helping Africa to achieve economic transformation and modernization. Exchanges between political parties are an important part of China-Africa cooperation. In recent years, exchanges between Chinese and African political parties have been frequent. From July 31st to August 3rd, 2024, Liu Jianchao, Minister of the International Department of the CPC Central Committee, led the CPC delegation to visit South Africa. During the visit, they met with African National Congress Chairperson and President Cyril Ramaphosa, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, South African Communist Party Secretary General Soli Mapela, the ANC National Executive Committee and Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of Ronald Lamola. The CPC delegation also held collective meetings with leaders of several political parties in the National Assembly to discuss views on China-South Africa relations. Additionally, the CPC delegation engaged in discussions with South African media and think tank representatives, extensively explaining the key messages of the 20th CPC Central Committee's third plenary session. During the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation at Beijing Summit, Liu Jianchao successfully met in Beijing with leaders of African political parties, including Gwen Ramagopa, ANC Treasurer General of South Africa, Salva Kiir Mayardit, Chairman of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement of South Sudan and President of South Sudan, for Yassine Bey, Chairman of the Union of Republic of Togo and President of Togo, Akende Ichelema, United Party for National Development, President and President of Zambia, Ilyas Musa Dawale, Secretary General of the People's Rally for Progress of Djibouti, as well as other African party leaders. They exchanged views on developing inter-party and diplomatic relations, as well as jointly implementing the outcomes of the FOCAC Beijing Summit. On July 25, 2024, the opening ceremony of the 7th China-Africa People's Forum and the 7th China-Africa Youth Leaders Forum was held in Changsha, Hunan. At the opening ceremony, important achievements were announced, including the Silk Road Heart-to-Heart China-Africa Civil Society Friendship Partnership Plan 2024-2026 and the unveiling of the China-Africa Cultural Exchange Center. On the afternoon of August 25th, the China-Africa People's Forum in Changsha hosted parallel forums on various topics, including China-Africa Cultural Exchange and Cooperation, International Volunteer Service, China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation and Corporate Social Responsibility, China-Africa Media and Think Tank Exchange, as well as cooperation on women's, children's, and disabled people's affairs. On the afternoon of August 26th, Yiyang, Lodi, Zhangjiajie, Chenzhou, and other locations respectively hosted events focusing on youth development, innovation and entrepreneurship, and new industrialization development. Parallel forums on public welfare and charity, China-Africa poverty reduction cooperation, green development, and environmental protection were held. It is understood that this forum was jointly organized by the International Department of the CPC Central Committee and Hunan Provincial Committee of the CPC. More than 200 participants attended, including political figures, former officials, political parties, and youth leaders, as well as representatives from NGOs and think tanks from over 50 African nations. The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation has not only strengthened the unity between Africa and China, but also established concrete mechanisms to promote the economic and social development of both regions. China-Africa relations are continuously being strengthened, and their substance is becoming more enriched, said Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye in recent joint interview with Chinese media in the capital of Dakar.
Le sommet donc est un moment important pour faire la revue du partenariat sino-africain, de consolider les acquis et de décliner de nouvelles perspectives de collaboration dans des domaines mutuellement bénéfiques. Le FOCAC représente un cadre innovant de coopération sud-sud qui a déjà fait ses preuves. C'est une plateforme d'échange fructueux et de partenariat dynamique pour répondre aux défis sino-africains. C'est donc une plateforme de dialogue régulier et le FOCAC en ce sens permet, à travers l'adoption d'initiatives et de plans d'action, de mobiliser des ressources pour financer des projets structurants en Afrique en s'inspirant du modèle chinois. Le FOCAC, enfin, permet de renforcer les voix de l'Afrique et de la Chine sur la scène internationale, en ce qu'il prône notamment l'égalité, la confiance mutuelle, la coopération gagnant-gagnant, la solidarité et l'assistance mutuelle. En tant que co-président du FOCAC et hôte de la 8e conférence ministérielle du FOCAC qui s'est déroulée à Dakar, le Sénégal a été témoin des importantes réalisations de ce partenariat, en particulier dans le domaine des infrastructures, avec la mise en œuvre de l'initiative La Ceinture et la Route. Beaucoup de routes, d'autoroutes, de ports, d'aéroports et de chemins de fer ont été construits. Des investissements importants ont été réalisés dans le domaine de l'agriculture, de la formation technique et professionnelle, de l'hydraulique et de la santé.
Kenya Kenyan President William Ruto said in an interview in the capital Nairobi that this year's Forum on China-Africa Cooperation will provide direction for African cooperation in new era, promote greener economic growth, advance peaceful development, and strengthen mutual learning among civilizations. Let's watch this short video together. Botswanan President Mogogwetsi Masisi said in a recent exclusive interview in the capital of Gaborone that China is a true friend of Botswana. He expressed confidence that the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation could provide significant momentum for building a community with a shared future for mankind. Let's watch this short video together.
First, to celebrate that which we've achieved. We expect, second, to cement, concretize, and deepen that relationship. We expect to build a new foundation for not just the next 50 years, but for life into eternity. 50 years is enough time to prove that you are true friends. China was always there with us and for us. The government of Botswana and the people of Botswana are immensely appreciative of the support rendered by China through their medical teams.
In China's interactions with African countries, regardless of the size or strength of the nation, China has always adhered to the principles of equality and mutual beneficial cooperation. This has set an example for cooperation among global South countries and has made it possible to establish a fair and just world where the interests of all parties are protected, said President Azali Assoumani of Comoros during an exclusive interview with Chinese journalists at the presidential palace in the capital of Moroni before departing for Beijing to attend the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Beijing Summit. I have a short clip. Let's watch it.
Parce que la Chine, il a toujours dit, il ne s'immisce pas dans les affaires intérieures du pays. Ce qui l'intéresse, c'est la coopération avec le pays. Mais la Chine a cette fidélité de considérer tous les pays avec lesquels il est en coopération égal à égal. Et là, il a donné cette culture à nous tous, de façon à ce que la coopération, on doit voir l'intérêt des deux pays. Dans le slogan qui a toujours dit gagnant-gagnant. Mais il a été toujours à nos côtés, dans tous les domaines. Que ça soit dans le domaine politique, l'intégrité de notre territoire, dans le domaine socio-économique.
التعاون ما بين الصين وافريقيا، لان افريقيا بالنسبه للصين هي شريك استراتيجي هام. كذلك تحركات الصين نحو التنميه ونحو السلام هي تحركات محل اهتمام وجذب للدول الافريقيه وايضا الدول العربيه.
Dans les domaines comme ce que la Chine appelle les secteurs émergents, les industries émergentes, que ce soit le numérique, que ce soit le développement développement vert, que ce soit l'intelligence artificielle. Parce que c'est des questions sur lesquelles l'Afrique a un fort potentiel.
The health area for me, because Africa has had very serious problems of diseases like malaria, especially in tropical areas, that there will be centers to be constructed in Africa to look at disease control and prevention.
Je me suis beaucoup plus intéressé sur la thématique, sur l'industrialisation de l'Afrique, parce que c'est une préoccupation majeure en Afrique. Vous savez que la Chine a un modèle de développement qui inspire les pays africains.
Since the establishment of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in 2000, the Sino-African Bilateral Summit and ministerial meetings have promoted pragmatic cooperation and achieved fruitful results. In 2015, the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Johannesburg Summit was held for the first time on the African continent. At this summit, the 10 cooperation plans were proposed, covering areas such as industrialization, agricultural modernization, infrastructure development, finance, green development, trade and investment facilitation, poverty reduction and public welfare, public health, cultural education, and human resources development. At the 2018 FOCAC Beijing Summit held in September 2018, the 8 initiatives were proposed to further deepen cooperation between China and Africa. China outlined key areas and specific measures for China-Africa cooperation over the next 3 years. These 8 initiatives include promoting industrial initiatives. China will support African countries in advancing industrialization and economic diversification, helping to upgrade their industrial and value chains. Through cooperation such as establishing economic zone and industrial parks, China aimed to promote the development of Africa's manufacturing sector. At the FOCAC 8th Ministerial Conference held in 2021, China announced its 9 projects for Africa, including the medical and health project, poverty reduction and agricultural project, trade promotion project, investment-driven project, trade promotion project, digital innovation project, green development project, capacity building project, humanistic exchanges project, and peace and security projects. These projects further refine the implementation paths for China-Africa cooperation, addressing post-pandemic recovery and development needs, particularly in the medical and health sector. China committed to providing 1 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines to Africa and supporting the enhancement of vaccine production capacity in African countries. These projects have played a significant role in providing public service capabilities and promoting sustainable development in African nations. Through the institutionalized promotion of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, China-Africa relations have expanded from traditional political trust and trade cooperation to broader areas such as the digital economy, green development, and public health. Over the past 24 years, China-Africa cooperation has steadily advanced, significantly enhancing the economic autonomy and sustainable development capabilities of African countries, creating a mutually beneficial and rewarding situation. Over the past 24 years, the FOCAC has achieved fruitful results in areas such as infrastructure development, agricultural advancement, trade and investment, and healthcare. Through pragmatic cooperation, both sides have promoted the economic and social development of African countries, while also jointly addressing global challenges such as climate change and public health, demonstrating the strong cohesion of the China-Africa community with a shared future. The following are the main achievements in various fields. Cooperation in infrastructure development. I have a short clip. Let's watch it. Cooperation in agricultural development. I have a short clip. Let's watch it.
焦小强说，每个来到这里的非洲学生都震惊并逐渐习惯一个奇迹，那就是中国用占世界9%的耕地养活了世界近1/5的人口。他说，这就是农业技术的魅力。2009年，中国农业大学在河北邯郸曲州成立全国首家科技小院。随着科技小院不断发展壮大，2019年以曲州实验站为基地，中非科技小院应运而生，为非洲留学生提供农业实践学习和技术交流的平台。焦小强说，不仅在中国，这样的科技小院农大在非洲开设了7家，并且广受当地群众的欢迎。
Trade and investment cooperation. I have a short clip. Let's watch it.
中非投资合作稳步增长。截至2023年年底呢，中国对非直接投资存量超过400亿美元，是非洲最主要的外资来源国之一。过去3年呢，中国企业为当地创造超过110万个就业岗位，投资建设的经贸合作区覆盖农业、加工制造、商贸物流等行业，吸引超过1000家企业入区，为当地纳税增收、出口创汇做出了重要贡献。
Cooperation in the medical field. I have a short clip. Let's watch it.
画面中的这个埃及姑娘叫 Isra， 她与中国的故事要从这3张照片说起。就在2个多月前， Isra 来到江苏省人民医院进修。虽然这是她第一次来中国，但她对中国医生并不陌生，尤其是杨晓东的故事。
Before I came here, I saw a photo for you during your Eid in Zanzibar, which had a great impression on me.
这个病人是我到桑吉巴尔的第1周，当时当地医生呢找到我说有一个这样的小孩，刚生下来20多天，是先天性的一个幽门梗阻。这种唯一的方法就是做手术治疗。医疗队所在的纳兹摩加医院呢，医疗器械比较落后，没有专门的这种小儿外科这种器械，仅有成人器械呢也相当简陋，剪刀呢是剪不开东西，血管钳呢也夹不住血管，那止血呢也没有专门的这种电刀，只能因陋就简，就地取材。当时呢也没有婴儿这种麻醉监护仪，我们只能通过经验呢眼力进行判断，每一次呢都比较艰难，但是看到患者和家属的笑容呢，也都觉得值了。
杨晓东记忆犹深，在两地医护团队的密切协作下，患儿终于转危为安，第3天就顺利出院了。
At this new starting point, China and Africa will continue to uphold the principles of sincerity, real results, affinity, and good faith, along with correct view of justice and interests, working together to build an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future in the new era, moving forward towards a bright future of peace, security, prosperity, and progress. Emphasis is placed on the strong confidence in cooperation and vast prospects it offers. In the future, under the guidance of the principles of sincerity, real results, affinity, and good faith, as well as the correct view of justice and interests, China and Africa will jointly build a new era all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future, showcasing even broader prospects for cooperation. Both sides will continue to deepen cooperation in infrastructure, green development, the digital economy, public health, and other fields, promoting higher quality development in African countries. At the same time, China and Africa will jointly address global challenges, promoting peace, security, and prosperity, demonstrating firm confidence in cooperation, and moving toward a bright future of shared progress and mutual prosperity. China has always adhered to the belief of advancing hand in hand with African countries. The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation as the core mechanism of China-Africa relations has further clarified the future direction strategic priorities of their cooperation. The 2024 FOCAC Beijing Summit will not only promote in-depth cooperation between China and Africa in areas such as infrastructure construction, agriculture, trade, and science and technology, but also inject new momentum into the sustainable development of the African continent, contributing to the building of a China-Africa community with a shared future in the new era. Through pragmatic cooperation, China and Africa will share development opportunities in more fields, work together to tackle global challenges, and achieve the goals of common prosperity and mutual benefits. The successful convening of the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Beijing Summit signals that China and Africa will further strengthen cooperation at the higher level and in broader areas, working together to promote the recovery and development of the global economy. That concludes today's special episode of Glimpse of China. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Bola. I will see you next time.